Jack Wright here. How are you? Welcome. And welcome to this very special and exclusive live video podcast coming to you live here on Facebook, broadcasted also on my personal, of course, Facebook page, of course, count, and not just that, from also the groups of the Go Getters and also the Go Electro fan page. And welcome to, of course, this very special podcast titled Radio Go Back in the Day, a 10-year anniversary celebration. Yep, that's right. This year in 2018, we are celebrating a 10th year anniversary of one of the most initiative and most creative pop bands that has ever been, of course, founded here in the British, UK, and of course United Kingdom music industry, that has been solely aimed for children, but unbelievably, for over the years, it has grown and it's also developed a huge fan base from an adult point of view, would you believe? It is absolutely insane, but it's most definitely true, and I am telling you right now. And like I've just said, guys, my name, of course, is Jack Wright, of course, also known as Jackpot Bonus on YouTube, if you, of course, do know me for making a load of videos on YouTube. And also, I am the creator of the Go Electro fan page, like I just mentioned, and, of course, celebrating and also, of course, celebrating the legacy and also the success of one of the most famous children's pop acts in the British music industry, like I've just said, which are Go. Now, we've got a fantastic show lined up, and of course, like I said, this year is the unofficial celebration. We're, of course, are celebrating 10 years of when the band first formed. Isn't that incredible, guys? That is insane. They've been around since 2008, over 10 years ago, and unbelievably, guys, you would never have thought. For any of you who don't know who on earth I am talking about, let me tell you a little bit more about Go and who they are, and to give you the lowdown and a little bit of a refresher course of how it all started for them. So basically, Go were a music group, and they were, but before they became a music group officially, they were featured in a family pop musical, a brand new family pop musical called The Go Show. And that was produced by the Show for Kids PLC, a company set up by very famous, of course, music producer Mike Stock, formerly known from Stock Aitken and Waterman fame, as you do know them very well, and Steve Crosby, who you may not know, or you might remember, for any of you who, of course, are very good on your music. He also founded very, of course, famous British pop music phenomenon that is Steps. Yes, that's right, and of course, the concept of the show and the group sprang into life once again back in 2008, and it was the brainchild of producer and manager of the Go brand at that time, which was Steve, whose previous claims to fame were having a hand in creating, of course, Steps, and subsequently also the Fast Food Rockers. And I had no idea about that as well. He also worked with Scooch as well, believe it or not, as well, who you might remember represented us. If you go back from last year in 2017, 10 years prior to that, in 2007, they also represented the United Kingdom in the Eurovision Song Contest in Helsinki. And as you know, with their song Flying the Flag for You, which I know didn't go down very well, of course. I know it became a top 5 hit here in the UK, but when, of course, the band jetted off to Helsinki and Finland for then performing the song over there, sadly it finished second to last, and it only got one amount of 12 points from Malta. But, of course, they still were very happy to get that result anyway. But, of course, enough about that. As you know, of course, with Mike Stock, also, whose work in pop music surely requires no introduction here, of course. He had been working with stars such as the amazing Kylie Minogue, Rick Astley, and literally, I can name so many people, guys. It is absolutely ridiculous. It's insane. But, as I've said already, it was their job to form the band and in just a few years' time after that, of course, they then made their very first public appearance. Of course, the Go 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 show made its public and, of course, theatre appearance and debut during the summer of 2010 at the Leicester Square Theatre in London, and it continued throughout the year, and it finished its run with a specially adapted show over the Christmas period. Now, of course, though, I have, as for many of you who might just be listening now, I have forgotten one vital thing. And what is, of course, a pop music band without its band members? And, of course, I am going to tell you all about them right now for any of you who do not know. But for any of you Go 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 getters, of course, that huge fan base of people who, unbelievably, there are still a load of you around, I have heard, which is quite amazing. And I actually am one of them, believe it or not, guys. And also, I have to admit, guys, that I am very good friends with some of the band members that are, of course, Carl Tracy, Holly Atherton, and also Jade Natalie. And but over the years, also prior to that, the band members, Jade actually wasn't in at the very beginning. I actually had found out one of the band members called Kirsten Joy Gill was actually part of the band before she joined in 2011. She was there at the very beginning, Kirsten, and I also heard that even though that she was in the band for only a year, she then went on to work with the very famous local pop music acts that are Clean Bandit, would you believe? That is phenomenal, guys, isn't it? That is something I would never ever thought that she would ever consider doing. But that's what she decided to do, and that gave the, of course, there was a spare seat available for Jay to be part of the band. But from her time being in the band, she was a real good singer. And we, of course, are going to, throughout this show, we are, of course, like going back to what I'm doing this podcast for, is that we're celebrating, once again, 10 years, of course, unofficially, of the band Go 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 Electro. So throughout this show, of course, we are going to be playing a whole heap of old and new songs from the band, from their past, and also I'd love you guys, since of course we are live right now, if you're listening right now, we're also broadcasting this live as a video, so if you are watching this right now, so hello there, of course. We've got 9 people watching at the moment live on Facebook Live, but if you are listening in right now, of course, do stay with us, because we've got loads, of course, planned, and loads of things lined up throughout the next hour and a half, so do stick around. As well as that, we've also got a very special guest who will be appearing in the studio very, of course, soon as well. Not just at the moment, but like I said, later on in the show, we'll have someone very special coming in to talk to us, and sharing their thoughts on, of course, the incredible celebratory milestone of 10 years of the band, and honestly, just to see, and this person that will be coming in hasn't been in part of the band for a long time, and it's nice to see that this person I'll be talking about will be willing to get back into and also really be part of the celebrations, even though they're quite early here. But do remember, guys, that also alongside this podcast, if you're watching this right now, we're also going to be doing a live video once again here on Facebook. I know we're doing one of these right now, but we are doing another one the following week, next Friday, and we are going to be having a look at the music videos of all the songs that the Go 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 have done in over the last 10 years as well also. But anyway, enough about that. Let's get to some music right now. I know we've had, if you heard that little bit of music to start off the show at the beginning, that was actually one of the songs, for any of you, of course, do not know, Steve Crosby and also Mike Stock, who even worked on as producers of the Go 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 show. They also collaborated together and even wrote all the music as well for the band. And they even composed it, they produced it. They done absolutely everything, which is quite phenomenal if you might think about that. It's quite amazing that they managed to do all of that, and including even managing the band in the first place as well. But anyway, we are going to play you our first song from, of course, the band, and they, of course, have been, as like I said already, this song from the band is one of the most successful ones because of how catchy it is, and believe it or not, it even compares to another song which is actually sounds very, very similar, and I think it sounds very similar to "Walking on Sunshine" from a that was I think Katrina and the Waves. Yes, I've just remembered. I know it's been a long, long time since I heard that song, guys. But honestly, this song really does, of course, pay. It sounds very, very similar, but it's not a complete carbon copy. But it sounds very, very similar indeed. And if you don't know what that song is, the title of the song was called "Wake Up Smiling." Yes, of course, and I know it's a very unique name for that song, but like I was just about to say, that was the very first single ever released from the band over 10 years ago, and even when the original cast recording of the Go 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 show was released in June 2011, it was quite something, honestly. The Mike Stock, not just being the producers on the show, Mike Stock even played music on there as well as being the composer of it. So anyway, of course, going back to before we go to the first few years of what happened to Go Go Go, we're going to play you one of the very first songs that made the band famous. Of course, straight away, straight from the original cast recording of the Go 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 show. It is the title theme song of the band, as well as even the Go 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 show. Let's kick off with our very first song from the show, and that is "Wake Up Smiling," once again, the title theme for not just the band, but also the Go 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 show back in 2008. Well, not just 2008, but 2010. Happy listening, guys. It's "Wake Up Smiling."
Wake up smiling. My dreams have been dreamed and my sleep has been slept.
Yes, everybody, there you go, everyone. That was unbelievably, the original version of the title song to the Go 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 show, and of course, before, or even actually, when Go 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 became an actual music group, that was Wake Up Smiling. And I was also just about to say, I completely forgot to say it before I played the track, that was, I think, actually sung originally by Kirsten, and before Jade then, because I think she also actually shares a lead vocal in that song, but then also Gemma Naylor, who also part of the band as well, before she, as you did not know, she's not part of the band anymore, but back in the day, as I've just actually said, one part of the title of this podcast, she did get the chance to have lead vocals on that single. And we've got a few little messages coming in. I completely forgot to say, guys, that since this is a live video podcast, I would love you to get in touch right now if you're listening on Facebook Live. And we've got one from a fellow Go 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 Getter fan. That is Jeanette Clark. Hello, Jeanette, if you are listening right now. That's the first time I've heard this version. Well, I can't believe that this is the first time that you're hearing it. Well, when I did actually hear this version for the first time, I couldn't believe it. It was a very different version to the one that, because as you know, the song that we played at the beginning, that was an instrumental version of the new, of course, there was a re-edit version, a new reproduced version of the song, and that was the version that followed, and it sounded very different to that one as you just heard right now. But anyway, yes, thank you very much for, of course, your message there, Jeanette. And, of course, once again, guys, I also would just like to say that throughout the show, if you've got any questions for me, I would love to answer them for you right now because, like I said, I'm a huge fan of the band and I am very, very, I'm very blessed to get the opportunity to do this. And I hope that with the band members of Carl, of course, Tracy and Holly Atherton and Jade Natalie, and also brand new members, Chloe Dean, AD Suiza, and also Amy Cooper. If you are listening, guys, hello there. I love you all very much, and I hope to see you very, very soon. I know that I know Carl is obviously he's actually been doing quite a load of things quite recently, and so has Jade and Holly. I have heard also, since of course we are in September now of 2018, we're only just a few months to go till Christmas, and I've heard that all of them are going to be doing pantomimes, of course, throughout the UK. Jade is going to be doing a pantomime all the way up in Preston, which, believe it or not, she's also doing it with Carl. She's doing a pantomime version of Cinderella, and also, well, she'll be playing the lead character as well, Jade, and Carl will be playing Prince Charming. And with Holly being part of another pantomime, she's going to be playing the role of Tinkerbell in Peter Pan, which, believe it or not, guys, over 2 years ago she done a very similar production and she played the same exact character, would you believe? That is insane, honestly. I had no idea that she had done that. She's no stranger to that song. Well, not just say a stranger to that song, but no stranger to that production. So, but yeah, very, very exciting stuff indeed, guys. And if you are interested, if you want to go and see them, I have heard that the places where, of course, Carl, Holly and Jade are doing their pantomime productions, the production of the Cinderella will be performed at the Preston Guildhall and Charter Theatre up in Lancashire, and Holly will be doing the pantomime of Peter Pan down in Aylesbury in the southeast of England as well, just to let you know. And tickets are on sale as well, guys, so if you are interested, go to the official websites of both the theatres. Once again, I'll just repeat them for you just to remind you. That is, the pantomime of Cinderella is at the Preston Guildhall and Charter Theatre, and the the tickets to get, so if you want to get tickets also for the pantomime of Peter Pan, and that is at the Aylesbury Waterside Theatre. I know I did just say the place, but I completely forgot to say the theatre, so just to clarify, that is the Aylesbury Waterside Theatre. So of course, do get your tickets if you are interested. And I have seen the costumes and how they are as you know, as the characters. I've even heard that I actually saw quite recently with Jay that she is so looking forward to doing this, because I know that she's very good friends with Carl, like I am with him. And believe it or not, guys, before we go on to a bit more history about the band, he also actually introduced me to the band of Go 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 in the first place. And he did follow me on Twitter over a year ago, and strangely enough, but of course, Go 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 aside, he actually followed me just because I was a huge fan of the pop band that is Steps, like I mentioned earlier on, and he was a huge fan of them as well. And it's crazy to think that I've also found out that Steve Crosby, who founded the pop band Steps, he also founded Go 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 as well. That is phenomenal. Isn't that incredible, guys? You never would have thought that Steve would go on to found one of the pop phenomenons of the 90s, that is Steps, and then would go on to make a completely different new pop band, but had a very similar kind of format and formula to the, of course, to Steps, with individual members having like a particular colour or their different personality traits. So yeah, it was really quite something. I had no idea about that. That was something I never would have thought anyway. But anyway, let's go back to more about the history of the band, like I mentioned earlier on. And of course, carrying on through when Go 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 were first formed 10 years ago in 2008, and then they made their public and, of course, very first theatre debut, of course, appearance in 2010, in the summer of 2010, at the Leicester Square Theatre in London. They, of course, they finished the run with, of course, that show, and they with an especially adapted show over the Christmas period. And I do know that they also had a Christmas song put into the show. Believe it or not, guys, actually from the Fast Food Rockers originally, believe it or not, and the song was I Love Christmas, but then it was kind of rewritten by Mike, and it was changed about a little bit because it sounded a little bit too sexual in a way, which what I mean by sexual, with there were a load of lyrics that sounded a bit like sexual innuendos, which kind of, even though that actually the pop band themselves were supposed to be aimed for children, it was a bit tongue-in-cheek, and obviously since it was aimed for young children, just like Go Go Go, they thought they might be just going over the boundaries slightly, so that's the reason why that they Mike actually decided to change the lyrics of the song. But anyway, of course, a year later, in 2011, the Go 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 show then became, it got a residency, if I could just say that right there, at Alton Towers Resort, and it was performed at the Cloud Cuckoo Land Theatre, and up to 5 shows a day they would perform there over and doing actually around this time also, when they were doing their very first tour, the Go 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 show, of course the show as a whole, they also performed there during their off days, which I've even found out as well. And I found that out from an old news article about when Gemma, of course, Gemma Naylor, band member Gemma Naylor, sorry, I do apologise there, I almost belched there. I did actually have a little drink earlier on, so I do apologise if I do feel like if I had to belch there. But anyway, like I said, she was a former pupil of Brooklands Primary High School. I wouldn't say high school, obviously it's not in America that she went to, but she came from Brantham, which is in Suffolk, would you believe? I know it's kind of funny, actually, because I do come from here in Cambridgeshire, which is around the area of East Anglia, and like I said, Suffolk is just further down south of course, of Cambridgeshire. So, but yeah, I had no idea about that when I first heard about that. And Gemma went to Ipswich High School, before winning a scholarship in dance and theatre to study at Bird College in Kent. And she said she went to along for an audition, not expecting anything to happen, and then she got the part and found herself in a recording studio with Mike Stock. And she spent the last 18 months, of course, obviously from the halfway point of 2010 and 2011, with touring the show, and then also once again performing at Alton Towers at the Clock, of course, Cuckoo Land Theatre. And they actually managed to, she does also say here that we visited 10 to 15 places, and then on our days off, they were at Alton Towers. It's a young family kind of show, and it's like a Scooby-Doo adventure. That's how she described the Go 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 show all those years ago for when she done it. So, but no, very, very interesting. It was quite special for her to get that opportunity. And she did say that when it started a few years ago, there weren't any of those pop groups around, but groups like Steps have returned now, which obviously around this time, if you did not know, in 2011, from 10 years prior in 2001, when initially, of course, I don't mean to bring back Steps into here, because of course I want to focus clearly, of course, on Go Go Go. Obviously, that was around the time when the album of the Ultimate Collection came out from Steps. They wanted to do something to kind of promote it, and they basically, the band members got together, and then they managed to settle their differences from how the band shockingly split in the way that, if you might remember, seeing in the amazing, of course, documentary that was the Sky Living documentary of Steps Reunion. And it was a very hard watch for me, especially. I remember it very, very well from all those years ago. It seems insane, honestly. But anyway, it's with, of course, with Gemma at the time when she was, of course, living in London and touring with around the UK. She makes sure to come back to where she grew up, as her parents still live in Brantham, and she says, it's a beautiful part of the country, and I did a lot of amateur dramatics in Brantham Village. Everybody has been very, very supportive. Well, that's really, really sweet to hear that there from Gemma. So yeah, there's a little bit of an insight on how the band members were first formed in the first place, but not just that, obviously. There is a little bit more about when Mike Stock even wrote the music for the band. And I know that, of course, prior to, like I said, when he formed the group alongside Steve, he, of course, I had no idea he was also the most successful songwriter and producer in British music chart history. And of course, like I said, he was one of the brainchilds behind the band. And despite with, of course, all the experiences over 35 years in working with everyone from Paul McCartney and Elton John to Cliff Richard, all the sirs, as he notes, he admits that the Pop Family musical, I should say, is shaping up to be the most ambitious project he has done to date. And I think it has been, especially from how long it has gone on to, but I don't think he has, he hasn't been manager of it in as much, but I do know that, I don't know who is in charge just at the moment, but I have heard that he still, I think, still has some involvement in it, but I don't know as much, to be quite honest. But he did say that he was never going to consent into the young, but give them the kind of straightforward pop music that I've always done, so to catch their attention with a combination of music and rhythm, and they're heavily choreographed, because he wanted there to be constant movement and there's no standing still in the show. Well, I mean, with, of course, from what I did see was some early footage of the Go 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 show, it was definitely a high-energy show, very much like one of the concerts that Steps done in their early days. I mean, they were very, very similar. I mean, you could compare the two, and there's very little in it between them, which is quite something. And, but yeah, as he also continues to say, most parents want their children to have music in their lives, he continues, not just nursery rhymes for the very young, I should say, I do apologise, but proper pop music. And these days it seems there's nothing there in the gap or between the wheels on the bus and California King Bed by Rihanna, where has all the pop music gone? I know, it sounds strange. Everything is aimed at 18 to 30-year-olds, but that's where the Go 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 show comes in. And the musical energetic stars at the time, once again, like I said, of Gemma Naylor, Steve Leeds, Holly Atherton, Carl Tracy and Jade Natalie at the time, when, of course, like I said, she only just made her debut, replacing Kirsten Joy Gill. They were picked for especially for their ability to sing and dance and to connect with kids, and they are being launched as a pop act via the show. Of course, exactly. Basically, with of course this musical, it kind of gave these of course 5 band members a kind of like a breakthrough or big break into the world as performers, even though they were all professionally trained at stage schools before they even joined the band when they auditioned. And but yeah, of course, they set it out to do a show that made pop accessible to all the family, with lots of singing, dancing, adventures, and even QI style questions for kids. And it was a simple concept, but I think it's one that's been missing from the scene, which apparently, or actually, the parents enjoy the show as much as their kids do, which is quite something, which you never would have thought. They're very much like, I think, with what Australian pop acts at High Five were very much like. Because, I mean, with loads of kids that also supported them and were a big part of the band's success, with when the kids, of course, that followed them from the very beginning grow up, they actually might have had kids of their very own. Very much similar to how also of course, the love for Steps, their fan base, started to grow. They even were dubbed to have a new generation of fans, and also that's where even the band of Go 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 even had their own. They even had their own, of course. They were even dubbed, even in the press in their early years, with Steps for the new generation, would you believe? I never would have thought they would actually have that comparison, just the same with Steps as well. That's really quite something. But going back to this article, as we've just heard here, he also did say that he's been in the pop industry, and that has kept him young. And pop music is timeless, he chirps. He did say here. And he was reared as a boy onto the great musicals like those of Rodgers and Hammerstein, always starstruck, and he was acting at the age of 16 in amateur dramatics with his local Eltham Little Theatre, and now the Bob Hope Theatre, which I don't know where that is, to be quite honest. I do apologise if you wanted to know, guys, you listening right now. But in the sense that he's come full circle, and his intros to songs are always short, punchy, and get to the point quite quickly. A skill I learned in writing close to 400 hits. On stage, you've got to cut to the chase so that nobody has time to get bored, and it's a great discipline. And the Go 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 show, once again, like I said, was a collaboration between himself and also Steve, and he, once again, well, it's going back to when he talks about Steps, and for also creating hits for the pop band Scooch and the Fast Food Rockers. But obviously, if you did not know, guys, just a little fun fact for you, Scooch were actually around before the Fast Food Rockers were, and they even didn't last very long either. They only lasted for over a year. They only brought out 3 singles, and then they also brought out an album which failed to chart in the UK singles chart. So, yeah, but what a shame for them. They were one-hit wonders, though, with their song, the Fast Food song, which narrowly missed out on #1, but it was very, very popular, and it was their most successful single that they brought out. But for looking up following projects for them, they do realise that that also there's a need for in the UK preteens market for music-based live entertainment, and Steve himself actually admired the success of the Australian children's musical group of the Wiggles, so he and Mike decided to go one better with a homegrown show that engaged its youngsters and with par. And the process of composition remains as challenging as ever for Mike, but nothing is as hard as writing a good pop song. By definition, pop songs should appeal not just to the young, but to the young at heart of all ages. I think I have to totally agree with that quote there from Mike there. I think he's hit the nail on the head there, honestly. And he last worked with, once again, going back to, of course, when he worked with Aiken and Waterman as a threesome. Not in that way. I mean, please, come on, grow up, please. It's not. This is supposed to be a family podcast here, not an adult one here. And he hasn't ruled out an ASAW reunion, but it's hard to see where he would find the time. But of course, the Go 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 show is his life at the moment, and he's been chased by the end of by West End producers. I do apologise to do an adult musical, but I think I'll reserve that for when I'm 65. I'm quite quite happy. I can't even speak today. I don't know what's happening with me today. Writing for young people at the moment. So yeah, I know that of course that article was a lot longer, and I do apologise for going off track there. But anyway, of course, we are in now the time in, of course, the band that, of course, Kirsten did leave the band, obviously, prior to only just being in there for a year, and now Jane has joined in. But this time, now we're actually going to, as we go back to more music, we're actually going to celebrate one of the great songs that she actually sang. And like I said before earlier on in this podcast, she was a real good singer, and then when she went on to go on to work with Clean Bandit, that really set her up for, you know, the future, her future basically. And we're going to listen to one of those very songs that, in my opinion, I think actually should have been, I can't believe it was only just a song, only just written for the show, but I think it should be an actual song that the band could have gone on to reproduce, and maybe Jay could have sung it, because she's got the real, I think actually she would have made a great, she would have done a great version of this song as well, alongside Kirsten when she recorded it originally. And anyway, the song, of course, that she sung, and we're going to play to you right now, straight from, of course, the original cast recording of the Go 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 show, and it's titled Devil on My Shoulder. Prepare yourself, because this one is a real catchy song. Here we go. It's Devil on My Shoulder. What a great song there, guys. That was Devil on My Shoulder from, of course, once again, the original cast recording of the Go 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 show. And I think it would have been actually one of the last songs that Kirsten Joy Gill would have recorded. And honestly, that I only just discovered this song quite recently, and when I first heard it, it sounded very much like a song that Steps would record. It sounded very, very catchy. It was absolutely amazing. And we have got a few more messages coming in. Jeanette Clark has just sent in another message saying, I like this song. First time hearing this too. Wow, that's amazing. Well, great to hear that there, Jeanette. And we've also got a few of my very good friends who are joining me right now. Rhiannon McBean. Hello there, Rhiannon. Of course, I know that you are seeing me right now, but also you, I know this might sound strange, but I'm also doing this as a radio podcast as well as a live video podcast, so I know it might sound weird, and I know I'm playing music, but this is the whole format of the show, and this is what I initially wanted to do, so, but hello there once again, and also hi to Zach Stewart. I hope you, if you've only just joined in, listening into the podcast right now, welcome. You haven't missed much, but if you want to stick around, of course, we've got loads of other songs lined up, so do please stick around, and we've got loads more still to come. And like I said, also, guys, for any of you who also are joining in right now, welcome, of course, to the Radio Go Go Go, back in the day, a 10-year anniversary celebration live video podcast. Which is basically, this is an unofficial celebration of celebrating 10 years of the very famous children's pop music act that are Go Go Go, that were formed over 10 years ago this year in 2018, but they didn't become a proper music group until 2 years later in 2010. But of course, going back to the history of the band, we're now around the time of where, of course, they just finished at Alton Towers at the Cloud Cuckoo Land Theatre. And in the summer of the same year in 2011, the show of the Go 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 show undertook a regional tour of the UK, including places such as Dartford, Cornwall and Wolverhampton, and then the tour ended in London's West End at the Garrick Theatre in October, where it was performed and it actually had several sell-out shows. It was that popular, it's insane. I mean, of course, tickets for that show just flew out, of course, of the box office doors. It was quite something. It was like something that you had to see. It was just taking the nation by storm, this band. It was really, really something. But now, as we move into 2012, it unveiled a few new changes. There were new changes that were put to the show, and then it was performed completely at a brand new venue, which was the Empire Cinema, once again back in Leicester Square in London. And it actually, at the time from when they, of course, when the Go 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 show was then performed here, it marked the first time in over 50 years that the venue had hosted a live performance event, which is quite something. I had no idea about that, but honestly, that was something quite extraordinary when I found out about that. But yeah, really, really good indeed. But anyway, of course, we are, we're just going over, we've already reached an hour already. I know I've been rambling on a bit about the band, but of course, and we've only played 2 songs or so, so we're going to go straight on with, of course, we're going to start now with a medley now, of course, of songs from, of course, once again, from the original cast recording of the Go 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 show. And we've got the next few songs, which are Questions, Questions. We've also got My Picture of the World, and also Heaven Bound, which actually, this was the kind of like prototype song to one that you might be hearing very, very shortly later on in the show. So do keep staying with us, and you will not be disappointed. But we are going to go, of course, we're going to calm it down now to a bit of a novelty song. And this song was initially going to be one made for another character, because also not just the band of Go 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 just had 5 members, they were just a quintet. They also had a character, or even 2 other characters actually, actually. They had Mr. Baffled, who was ever confused and always was thinking of questions to be answered, but he can't answer them himself, so he would always rely on the band for help. And also, they also had a character called the Fluffalope, which, for any of you, was a friendly purple monster who likes eating socks, would you believe? I know it sounds completely unusual and random, but that's what the idea of Mike Stock and Steve Crosby had for when they were developing and producing the show. But anyway, let's continue on with some more music here, of course, on this Radio Go 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 back in the day, a 10-year anniversary celebration podcast, as we have our next song exclusively from, of course, if you've never heard this version of the song before, and we might actually play it later on when we have our special guest in the studio, and that is the song of Questions, Questions. And remember, guys, I haven't had the chance to say this, but if you know this song already, once again, please send in your messages and telling what you remember and what is your favourite song. Also, we'd love to hear you guys also make any requests of songs as well, for all of you fellow go-go-go-getters out there. And I'll be more than happy to play any requests for you. This is the whole part of it, and I mean, I really want to make the most out of this incredible, of course, celebratory milestone from this band. But anyway, let's carry on once again with the songs, and as we go into a medley of songs, first is up, we have Questions, Questions, then My Picture of the World, and then we go into Heaven Bound. So, first up, Questions, Questions.
Butterflies get inside your tummy. Why do bees have little furry coats? Why does higgledy-piggledy sound so funny? And why do we count sheep instead of goats or cats? And does a cricket use a cricket bat? It's all a mystery. Take a guess, have a go. Put my hand down if I know. Scratch my head, tap my foot. I would silver wings on butterflies. When I paint my picture of the world, there will be wishing wells, rocking horses, carousels. When I paint my picture of the world, maybe I can make a canvas all along the golden sand. Maybe I can mix the colors from the leaves of the trees falling down all around. There will be honeybees, a summer house for you and me. When I paint my picture of the world, when I paint my picture of the world, maybe I can mix the colors from the leaves of the trees falling down all around. There will be your sweet face. Oh, it's gonna be a happy place when I paint my picture of the world, when I paint my picture of the world. When I paint my picture of the world. And the earth spins round and round. Only gravity keeps me on the ground. And my world is full of sound. And I'm flying heaven bound. Well, it's kind of crazy. I hear a beat. I snap my fingers.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that audio feast, of course, of 3 songs from the original cast recording, once again, of the Go 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 show. That was the songs Questions, Questions, My Picture of the World, and Heaven Bound. And we've also got a few more people coming in to watching the show right now. And thank you very much for your messages and your requests. We also have got a request now just coming from Jeanette Clark, and she said, can I request my daughter's favourite song, please? It is the Get Along song. She would love to hear it. Well, I would be absolutely honoured to do that for you, Jeanette, and we're going to be playing that very, very shortly. And also as well, for all of you guys out there who have just been listening to Heaven Bound, that actually was a, like I said earlier on, that was actually the first version of course, that was the previous version, or you could say the promotional version of the song before it then got changed, and it even had it was completely rewritten, and it was given a new title called Lay the Rhythm Down, which we are going to hear that also later on in the show as well. But before we get to, of course, Jeanette Clark's request of the Get Along song, we just want to quickly remind you a little bit more of as we move on to, as we continue the history on the band. Now, of course, in 2012, coming into the end of 2012, of course, the Go 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 show was then commissioned by for television by Nickelodeon and also by Viacom, and then filming took place in early 2013 and then began broadcast on children's, of course, Kids UK satellite channel Nick Jr. in April. And I know that also at the time when, of course, this was happening, this was obviously with another news article here from one of the shows that then, of course, started off. I think it was the 3rd year of touring, I think, for Go 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 now at the time, since they then became officially a pop music band, then just, of course, characters in a pop musical. And with Carl actually saying here, he did actually explain that the music scene had changed so much from then. Of course, he think about stars like Miley Cyrus and Rihanna, and they have sexualized pop, which is not a thing that should happen often. Obviously, I know it's become a reoccurring thing, and I know that you could say also that is another way of describing maybe one of the songs that the Fast Food Rockers done from their time when they were around in the industry. But they said he wanted to say that they wanted to create music that kids can listen to with their parents. We sing original pop music created by Mike Stock, who has such an amazing pedigree, having worked with everyone from Rick Ashley to Don Summer. And they record in the studio surrounded by platinum discs. Even the Lou, there's a Kylie Gold record. Well, I wasn't expecting for him to say that. That's quite something. Our fans are all ages, from under 5s to teenagers, and we seem to get a bit of a guilty pleasure for the parents as well, who tell us they are looking forward to the CD release more than their children. And the Go 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 show videos feature throughout the everyday, of course, on Nick Jr., when they were, although there were 3 favourite times during the day. In the morning, of course, they get up by singing the song Wake Up Smiling, the band, and then at lunchtime they're filmed eating a picnic and singing Choices, which we'll also hear that later on in this show as well, of course, everybody. And then in the evening they sing another song called Hey There Sleepyhead, which also, like I said already, we're going to be playing that song as well very soon. Also, they're going to be featuring, along with other tracks, on a CD-DVD package called Radio Go Go Go. And like the title of my podcast, that became the name also of Go Go Go's first ever album that they brought out. And can you believe, guys, it has been, I think, 5 or 6 years since that was released in 2013. So not just they got the offer of appearing, of course, every day on the kids' satellite channel in the UK of Nick Jr. They also were working on a CD and DVD release of their very first album, and that was really, really something, honestly. And he did say that also, of course, at the time when they were still touring in 2013. They, of course, were back in a bigger theatre in London, following fame, of course, on Nickelodeon, and they were embarking on another UK tour, which included Birmingham and Leamington Spa. And he said he was looking forward to the tour and meeting fans and getting them up singing and dancing. And he was a former pupil of Willencote High School in Tamworth, where actually, for any of you who do not know, that's where he's based, guys. I had no idea about. And he started acting in Youth on Stage and BMOS Musical Theatre Company in Birmingham. So, if you did not know, Tamworth was not far away from Birmingham. And also, Jade Natalie, other member of Go Go Go, she actually resided from Wolverhampton. So she's obviously not far away from Carl either. And she comes around the same area as Carl does. But anyway, that of course, we are actually about halfway now through, of course, the history of the band Go Go Go, and we're coming up to the last few songs also on the original cast recording, and I think we might also have time for to play some of the new songs from also Radio Go Go Go. But anyway, back to, of course, some more music, and thank you very much also, Jeanette Clark, for, of course, still tuning in and listening in. This goes out to her wonderful daughter, who I do know very well because I am also friends with her on Facebook. I've been obviously getting in, of course, in contact with a load of fellow Go 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 getters and fans of the band. So this song is especially for your daughters, Jeanette. Here we go with our next song here, of course, on the Radio Go Go Go. Back in the day, a 10-year anniversary celebration live video podcast. Here we go with the original version of the Get Along song, sang on lead vocals by Holly Atherton. Take it away, Holly.
We'll sing a get along song, a song for getting along. Side by side with friends you can depend upon. All our troubles are gone, and what could ever go wrong? Hey ho, here we go and sing our get along song.
And there you go, everybody. That was the original version. Thank you very much there, Holly, for singing lead vocals on that. And the very, of course, special friendship song, that is the Get Along song. Once again, the original version from, once again, the original cast recording of the Go 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 show. And we have just seen another message from Jeanette, and she just said we're having a sing and a dance. Oh, that's really sweet. Well, that's wonderful to hear there, Jeanette, you singing and dancing with your daughter, and I'm really, really happy that that she enjoyed it. I think she also did just say there that Lydia said thank you. Oh, thank you so much. That is so sweet of your daughter to say that, Jeanette. Well, give her my love. I mean, honestly, this is the whole reason why that I've decided to do this, and we'll actually pass that message on to also Holly as well, since I am very good friends with her, and you live in Birmingham as well. Wow, that's amazing. Wow, so you're not far away from the band members of course, Carl and Jade living right beside you. Actually, that's quite something. I had no idea about it. I also am just about to say that we've had a load of people coming in at the moment, and I've been given a heart-eyed emoji by my old school friend Gareth Tomlins. Thank you very much there, mate. A bit unusual, but a bit random, but I'll take it. But, yeah, anyway, I really do, I know, of course, for any of you who are just joining right now, obviously this is a live video podcast celebrating an unofficial 10-year anniversary of the very famous, of course, children's pop music act of Go Go Go, and obviously we're celebrating the legacy and history of the band, as well as playing songs also from the of course the original pop musical, and it started for them becoming an actual pop music group, and they have definitely changed also from very much today as well. But more on that, of course, later on. But anyway, of course. We will have to carry on with more music, and we're on to the last song of the original cast recording, and this song is going to be sung by a very, of course, good friend of Carl, which is Steve Leeds, and alongside Carl he's got another fantastic singing voice, and believe it or not, guys, when I first discovered him being part of the band, he actually put me in the mind of Stephen Mulhern, very famous children's entertainer and magician, because his hair looked very much similar. And but he was obviously a bit more older than what Stephen is now. Obviously, I remember him obviously going back being a TV presenter on children's ITV, and then working on programs such as SMTV Live, Tricky TV, and also Holly and Stephen's Saturday Showdown and Ministry of Mayhem. But he's a completely different person. But I also do know quite recently that he's also an actor in real life alongside, because he actually left the band quite recently to work on other projects, and he's an actor at the moment, and he's also been just even started doing directional work as well, working as a film director, and he's brought out of course, a film he's been working on. He's also starred in himself, called A Futile Life, which is coming out later on this year. I think actually next month in October, I believe, and that's what I've heard. And of course, if you obviously want to keep up with that, they have got an official Instagram profile. They've got an official Instagram page all about the film, and also do give him a follow. He's a real lovely chap, and he's a very, very good and not just a good singer, but also he does a lot of things involving fitness, including, of course, my very good friend Carl, who's also, believe it or not, who's also very good friends with Steve. He's also became a personal trainer quite recently as well. That's what I've heard from a video that was actually uploaded on the official Go 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 Facebook page, and when they were performing, of course, Carl and Jade at a takeover event at the shopping centre of Selfridges in Manchester. And if you did not know, they're actually part of they're resident, of course, performers at a new family rave event that has been around for over 2 years now, called Raveroo. More about that event, of course, later on in the show. But anyway, let's get back to, of course, the music, and of course, let's continue on with more of the real, of course, great friendship songs. And I think also, since we are doing this also on a day very close, of course, to the weekend on a Friday, I think this is an ideal song to get you in the mood for the weekend. And that is the song This Is the Life. And once again, this is the last song from the original cast recording album of the Go 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 Show, sung on lead vocals by Steve Leeds and also backing vocals by Jade Natalie. Have a listen to this song, guys. It's a real catchy song, and I've even seen the dance routine as well. It's amazing how the band all those years ago could have managed to do such a high energy routine. Their energy level never drops, just like Steps. It's something. It's really something incredible. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get on with another song. It's This Is the Life from, once again, the last single from, of course, the original cast recording of the Go 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 Show.
Oh, what a feeling, feeling the good times. This is the place I wanna be. Living a sweet dream, also appealing. This is the life for you and me. My soul is lifting me higher. These are the sights I wanna see. If this is magic, I wanna bag it. This is the life for you and me. Tonight we're living up, the music's gonna rock, party don't stop, never giving up. Sky rockets lighting up the night. This is the life for you and me. Our boat is sailing the ocean. We are in sweet tranquility. Let's stay together, make it forever. This is the life for you and me. Tonight we're living up, the music's gonna rock, party don't stop, never giving up. Sky rockets lighting up the night. This is the life for you and me. This is the life, never giving up. This is the life, giving up, never giving. This is the life, giving up, never giving. This is the life, giving up, never giving up. Used to this, never let it fade away. I could get used to this, never giving up, never giving up. Tonight we're living up, the music's gonna rock, party don't stop, never giving up. Sky rockets lighting up the night. This is the life for you and me. This is the life, never giving up. This is the life, giving up, never giving. This is the life, giving up, never giving. This is the life, giving up, never giving up. Sky rockets lighting up the night. This is the life for you and me.
Oh, that was a real good banger, wasn't it, guys? That was This Is the Life from, once again, the last song on the single, of course, the original album of course, the original cast recording of the Go 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 Show. And we have been getting more comments in, and Jeanette Clark saying, this is my favourite song. Oh, really? Well, that's very interesting. I thought your favourite was the Get Along song there. Unless I think that might be your daughter's there. I might be wrong there, Lilia, so I do apologise for that if I'm wrong. But we've been getting loads of other people joining in with the, with of course the live video podcast. A load of my old school friends are on here, believe it or not, which is quite something. And my old school friend Joe Dalton says, yes, DJ Jack. Well, you could clearly know there, mate. Honestly, this is something I've always wanted to do. And I don't know that also, I think I'm not afraid to admit to saying that I don't mind listening to a bit of children's music now and then, mate. Honestly, because that's what I want to do in the future. As well as being a DJ, I'd love to also be a children's entertainer. I'm still old enough or young enough to even do that type of thing. And another heart eye emoji also from him as well. Honestly, I really love all of this love you're giving me, guys, honestly. And to all of you fellow fans out there who've been doing this, honestly, of course, during the show, it's really, really something. But I haven't had any questions yet. I mean, honestly, please ask me some questions. I really would love to. I mean, I love doing it. Honestly, I really love answering questions. I'd love you to ask me, for any of you who are also fellow Go 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 Getter fans, to tell me about why I love their music and my favourite song, my favourite member, anything, or even anything personal as well. But remember, don't be rude. That is a golden rule. Please do not be rude, honestly. I want to make that very, very clear indeed. But we have 4 people at the moment on the Facebook Live video podcast. And if you are still continuing to listen here on, of course, on my radio podcast as well at the same time, once again, broadcasted on my official personal, of course, Facebook page here on, once again, Facebook Live, and also on the fan pages of the Go 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 Getters and also my Go 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 Electro fan page. Well, at the moment, I know that we've actually, the time has just been flooding, but, well, it hasn't just been flooding by, but it's just been running by like anything. Time has just been flying by like no one's business, honestly. And we have actually got a question there. Thank you very much, Jeanette Clark, once again. If you could be in the band, what colour would you wear? That's actually a very, very good question indeed. Well, believe it or not, guys, or actually, Jeanette, to be Pacific, my favourite colour is actually orange. Very much similar to actually the character of Mr. Baffled in the early version of the Go 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 show. Used to wear orange. She used to have, like, I think it was a symbol with 3 question marks on it, which were white, and they actually had an orange outline. So I would actually say orange there, Jeanette. And also my old school friend Joe Dalton says, where would you most like to go in the world? Very good pun there, Joe, mate. Thank you very much. Are you talking about like when I travel or something there, mate? If you mean that, well, to be quite honest, I've been very, very fortunate enough to have gone to a load of places at the moment since I was very, very young, actually, going back to when I was about 10 years old. I think the first holiday I had was in Lanzarote in the Canary Islands. Since then, I have been to most of the Greek islands. I've been to Corfu, I've been to Rhodes, I've been also to Crete. I've also been to one of the most, I think, longest holidays that we had, even though that I actually felt ill about halfway through because I ate some dodgy food, which I wasn't expecting to, was Mexico. We actually stayed there for 3 weeks, and we actually caught the tail end of a hurricane that was actually going through America at that time when we went there, and that was quite terrifying stuff, honestly. It really, really was something. But we have also been to Malta as well, which that's the most recent place I've been to from 2 years ago. But I would absolutely love to go to America anytime soon. Honestly, it would be... I've always wanted to go to America because I know that my dad John used to live there when he was younger, believe it or not. He used to have... his great uncle Charlie used to live there, and he used to live in San Francisco, which is a beautiful part of America. But I've always... For being... of course, if you did not know, I'm also a performer in my spare time, mate, honestly, if you did not know. And I would love to go to New York and see shows on Broadway, because that, of course, the next step after the West End in London, you would obviously have the middle of Theatreland, of course, Times Square of course, on Broadway in the middle of New York, the hustle and bustle. That is just the most amazing thing. I would love to go to and go and see and everything. So, but honestly, yeah, that would be something I would love to go to. I'd love to go to America, mate. Honestly, that's always been on. That's still on my bucket list, and hopefully in the future that will happen one day, or of course in the next few years or so in the future. But anyway, of course, we're actually going to take a quick break now here, of course, on this. I know it's insane that I have been going on with this, of course, this live show for quite a while now, of course, on my of course, here on Facebook Live. But that doesn't mean that the show is over just yet. We have, of course, finished all the songs from the original cast recording of the Go 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 show. But we have also still got a very special guest to come in live in the studio. So I never thought I would actually go to two parts here. It's quite something for me to actually do this. And we're getting to the last part of the, of course, history timeline with the band of Go Go Go. And of course, we've still got loads of, and I've even also yet to announce one very special surprise that I've got planned very, very soon, of course, with what's going to be happening in the latter half of course, this year. And please do stick around, guys. Honestly, you are really going to, you certainly don't want to go anywhere. Of course, I am off for a quick break, guys, but don't worry, I will be back in about half an hour, and will we continue the celebrations, the unofficial celebrations of 2000, of course, as 2018 marks 10 years, and the unofficial 10-year anniversary of the very famous British children's pop act that are Go Go Go. So, of course, for the moment, we'll have to say, of course, see you soon. Of course, about a half an hour or just over an hour. But I will be back very, very, of course, soon as we continue, of course, once again, the unofficial celebrations and, of course, the unofficial 10-year anniversary of course, that is British pop, of course, children's pop act. That is Go Go Go. But to play us out and, of course, into the break, we're going to have the rewritten version of the song that is Heaven Bound, and that is the song Lay the Rhythm Down, a classic song, one of my favourites, also sang on lead vocals by my, of course, very good friend Jade Natalie. So until then, we'll obviously... Oh, and just before we play the song, we've got one more question from once again, my old school friend Joe Dalton. What would your DJ name be? Good question. Well, also, like, if you did not know, mate, I'm also on YouTube. I also have a YouTube channel called Jackpot Button Lewis Productions, my own production company. And that, how that came about, Jackpot is my nickname, which is normally associated with, like, a huge pot of money when you win it on, like, the National Lottery, or if you, obviously, it's like a top prize you would win in a game show. So, yeah, I would actually be called Jackpot, mate, DJ Jackpot. And, but also, with going back to my YouTuber name, I had the name of Jackpot Button Lewis, and that was actually the surname and first name of the singers, well, not sorry, singers, racing drivers, for being a fan of the motorsport Formula 1, and that was Jenson Button and Lewis Hamilton, who are both British drivers. I always support British drivers. I'm very patriotic as always. So, yeah, that's, but to answer your question there, mate, honestly, like I just said, my DJ name will be DJ Jackpot there, Joe Dalton, mate, honestly, so, there we go. Anyway, of course, I wasn't expecting that question to come in so quickly, but to play us out to the break, and I'll see you in about an hour and a half, of course, as we continue the celebrations of Go Go Go's unofficial 10th year anniversary. Here is, of course, the very first, or one of the new songs, or actually rewritten songs, for, of course, Go Go Go's second album, which is Radio Go Go Go, and that's the song Lay the Rhythm Down. And see you, and well, of course, we'll see you in about an hour and a half's time when we continue the celebrations, and we continue on, of course, celebrating the history and legacy of the, once again, the British children's pop band that is Go Go Go. See you in a few hours, guys, and happy listening to, once again, Laying the Rhythm Down. Take it away, Jade.
Teacher
everybody! Well, you wouldn't expect me to be back again so soon, were you? Well, hello there everybody, once again, my name is Jack Wright, known as Jackpot Button Lewis on YouTube, and welcome to this part 2 of course, my live video podcast of Radio Go Go Go, back in the day, a 10-year anniversary celebration. This, of course, live video podcast in, of course, unofficial celebration of celebrating 10 years of the very famous, of course, initiative and creative British, of course, children's pop act that is Go Go Go, which to any of you who may not know, of course, from just, of course, this year, that they have been around for 10 years. Isn't that incredible? For any of you who, of course, joined me for the first part just over of course, an hour and a half ago, I hope you enjoyed it so far. I did say I would be back, and but I certainly was not expecting it to be a lot more longer than I thought. I had to get something to eat and had to get a drink as well. But I am back here and, of course, ready to carry on with the show. And we still got quite a lot still to look forward to. Like I said already, we are in this, of course, live video podcast. We're not just, of course, doing this on Facebook Live, which I'm also broadcasting it right now, also on my personal Facebook profile page. Of course, if you are watching right now, hello to all of you watching. We have 6 people at the moment joining in right now. And, oh wow, goodness me, my old, of course, school friend Danny Grimshaw, who's also a fellow DJ, but of course I'm not a DJ in real life. He's actually watching right now. Hello, mate, nice to see you. We've got a load of my old school friends listening into right now. Fraser Jennings, old school friend of mine. Hi there, Fraser, good to hear from you, mate. You haven't missed much. Of course, if you don't know what I'm doing, it's basically something I have been working on for a long time, and this is going to be something. Do stick around, Fraser, if you can, mate. Honestly, if you really love pop music, this, of course, pop act I'm talking about of Go Go Go, I'm very good friends with some of the band members who are currently part of it at the moment. So and they wrote some real good pop songs, and Mike Stock and Steve Crosby, who founded the band over 10 years ago, they were the brainchild behind the band. Of course, where we last left off, of course, in the last part, we were just getting up to the end of the history of the band, and we also played the very first single from well, I was going to say, actually, Go Go Go's, of course, their second album, which would titled, like I was just about to say, of Radio Go Go Go. And we had the, of course, the follow-up song to the prototype song of Heaven Bound, which was Lay the Rhythm Down. And I hope you enjoyed that song. That is one of my favourites, actually, to be quite honest, because let me tell you, my friend Jade Natalie is a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of her. She is just an amazing person. She looks beautiful, and she's even got a beautiful voice, and even a singing voice, and even dance style, of course, to boot as well. Also, hi there to Daniel Bell, who's also just gave me a thumbs up. Nice to see you there, my friend. A very good friend of mine from who owns of course, a professional theatre company called KD Theatre Productions. I've been a big supporter of his group for a long time. And we've also got Lisa Malkin joining in. Hello there, Lisa. You haven't missed much, but and also at exactly the same time, she's given me a like, which was a nice thing to do there. Nice, thank you very much for your reaction and your like there. We're just about to. We've just started on this second part, so you haven't missed much, Lisa. But anyway, yes, of course, going back to business, and sorry for going off topic, we actually, believe it or not, I made actually a mistake from earlier on today, of course, doing this podcast, and that we missed out on one of the songs that that was also, that didn't actually make it into the, I don't know why, on the original cast recording. And that was the song, well actually there's 2 songs actually to be exact, but one of them in particular was also put into the Radio Go 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 album, and those two songs are Let Him Go and Time to Move On. So, but we're actually going to play Time to Move On first. This song is actually sung by Holly Atherton on lead vocals. This is a song about for her describing herself as a character. She was deemed to be bossy, but not as like, you know, not in a mean way. Obviously, she's kind of like, she wanted to be the unofficial leader of the group, even though that I don't know if the band actually had their own official leader at the time from the early days. Oh, I do apologise. I know you did actually see that there, Lisa. Do you want a tissue? No, it's fine. I do apologise. I didn't realise that I only just wiped it on my sleeve. But no, I'm fine, honestly. I do apologise also if I do sound a bit nasally, because I've actually been I've actually started feeling a bit unwell quite recently. Of course, we're in autumn now, and the flu season is almost in full swing, and allergy is actually spreading about. So I do apologise if I do sound like that, but I had to do this anyway because I actually, this has been in preparation for a long time now. But anyway, enough about that. Let's get straight on with some music. Moving swiftly on, of course, and literally just like, of course, with the title of the next song, let's move on to our next song, and our first song, of course, on the second part on my Radio Go 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 back in the day, a 10-year anniversary celebration. And let's kick off this second part of the live video podcast with our next song from, once again, the original cast recording of the Go 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 show. That is Time to Move On. Take it away, Miss Holly Atherton.
Time
Fantastic song indeed, and that was Time to Move On there from, of course, sang on lead vocals by Holly Atherton, one of the other singles, and also one of the other songs also from the Go 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 show, of course, the pop musical, the new pop musical for kids, and that's how, of course, if you did not hear me earlier on, and that's how, of course, Go 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 were first formed before they became an actual music group. But of course, if you knew that already, we are in, of course, that turning point of course, when the band actually became a musical group, and now, of course, they were in full swing, and they've actually been touring around the UK for over the last actually, from what they achieved all those years ago. And even, believe it or not, guys, from 2014 onwards, they also got an amazing opportunity to even perform all the way in the far east of Asia, in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, would you believe? That is quite something. I never would have thought a British pop band would get an Asian following as well, with fans across Asia. That is like something kind of unheard of. It's like going back to the when High Five, the very famous Australian pop band, they actually had their opportunity to perform in countries in the Middle East. They actually started performing in Singapore, and also the United Arab Emirates, and also the Philippines. They had quite a following, honestly, in the countries in the Middle East, and also mostly in Asia, which is something kind of unheard of for the band. Honestly, it was really, really, really something. So as we go to another part of the history going into the band, of course, with Go Go Go, of course, as you know, they were really, of course, being as popular as ever. They've just brought out their very first, of course, album from their cast recording of the Go 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 show, and they brought it out, and it was titled Radio Go Go Go, which had a load more songs, even some songs that even appeared as songs that were even written for when of course, they were used also in the Go 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 show, like we just played with Time to Move On. And we're going to play another one just very shortly, but as I was just about to say, also, this was around the time, of course, from 2014 to then 2015, something the unthinkable happened. Obviously, there was a time when, of course, two of the members thought they wanted to move on from, of course, the band and do other projects. And if you did not know, around in 2014, right through to 2015, that's when the band members of Gemma Naylor, who dressed in pink, and Steve Leeds, who dressed in blue, they both decided to leave the band. And but I do know that recently that Gemma Naylor is, of course, she's still an actress. She's still performing. I do know that also, I completely forgot to mention it in the last part of the podcast, that also alongside Carl, Holly, and Jade doing pantomimes, she is also doing one as well. She's also doing a pantomime all the way in Reel. If you don't know where that is, that's down in the south of Wales, and she is doing the pantomime of Aladdin, and she's playing the role of Princess Jasmine. And I have heard that, obviously, going back to the other people who are working not just with Gemma, but with Carl, Holly, and also Jade in their individual pantomimes, they have got a load of famous stars performing with them. I've heard that actually with Holly's pantomime, I think the actor John Mitchie from soap, of course, opera of Coronation Street, he's playing the role of Captain Hook, and also a very famous entertainer of Andy Collins is playing the role of Mr. Smee. And also Lavoie, if you might remember her, of course, very, very famous drag act who performed on Britain's Got Talent quite a few years ago. She's also playing Mrs. Smee in that pantomime. And just a quick reminder to you guys, if you are interested in going to see these pantomimes that I am talking about, Carl and Jade's pantomime, they're both going to be playing the roles of Cinderella and Prince Charming in a production of Cinderella, of course, the pantomime, at the Preston Guild Hall in, of course, Lancashire, the Preston Guild Hall and Charter Theatre. just to remind you. So if you are interested in going to see them, search that up on any search machine, and you'll find tickets to get them to, of course, to go and see them. And also, if you're interested in seeing Holly's production, which is she's playing the role of Tinkerbell in a production of Peter Pan, as like I mentioned with the other cast members playing other characters in the same pantomime. They, of course, are going to play, well, they're not just playing the roles, but also, if you are interested in getting tickets as well, you can, they are performing down in Aylesbury in the southeast part of England, and they are performing at the Aylesbury Waterside Theatre. Just to clarify that, the Aylesbury Waterside Theatre is the place where you can go and see Holly in pantomime there as well. And if you, of course, if you're down in Wales, of course, if you want to see Gemma, for any of you who are big fans of her from her time in the band of Go 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 as well, go to, of course, she's performing at the Real Playhouse, Theatre. In Wales, so if you are interested in seeing her, of course, just search up the theatre and you'll find information about to get tickets to go and see that theatre, of course, that pantomime as well, I should say. But anyway, yeah, of course, now we have reached quite a shocking moment you wouldn't expect to happen all those, of course, years ago. And as always, there is a time when, of course, band members have to move on to a certain part of course, of when it comes to them moving on to do other things as well as being in a pop band. So, but this, of course, we're going to go to another song also that has been not just on the, of course, a song that has been written also for the Go 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 show pop musical. It was even featured as a song and also been put on there as an extra single on the second album that Go Go Go, of course, released on their second album of Radio Go Go Go, and that is the song Let Him Go. Now, of course, I'm not saying this is anything to do with the very famous song from the very famous Disney film of Frozen, which is Let It Go. Basically, this song called Let Him Go is, I think it's a song that actually, from what I remember from the Go 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 show, Carl actually sings lead vocal on this, and if you have not heard him sing, he is an amazing singer. I know that. Funny enough, also, guys, I've also heard that he's also done another song quite recently. He's teamed up with a pop music producer, or house music producer. I can't remember his name exactly, but he's worked with someone quite recently, and they're now known as a group called Too Mixed Up, and he's brought out a song called The Devil in Me. Well, actually, strangely enough, even though we're celebrating, of course, the legacy and all the great songs from Go 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 here, I might actually play this song that I'm talking about, because it's actually really, really a catchy song, and but we'll get to that later on, hopefully. But I'll definitely remember to play that as well. But anyway, besides that, going back to, of course, Go Go Go, of course, and continuing the songs in between the part of the Go 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 show and also Radio Go Go Go. Here's the next song, and of course, this at the time when this song was being, of course, performed in the Go 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 show, the character of the Fluffalope is starting to have a bond on the character Gemma, who really likes him, but he's obviously missing out on where he originally lives in the island of Baphodopolis, is where also the band live. And basically this song is well, it's not like a serious song, but it's kind of a realization song that you know, that the Fluffalope doesn't have to be with someone all the time, because sometimes they get a bit homesick, some particular people. It's even like you can even use this song in a way to describe someone, if you've been with someone and you know, if you're in a relationship and it hasn't worked out. Obviously it's just a way to try and move on from it and try and find someone else, basically, who would obviously would, of course, treat you with respect and love and everything. So, but anyway, enough about that. Here's, of course, that very song sang by my very good friend from the band of Go Go Go. That is Carl Tracy. And here is the song Let Him Go, from both one of the first time it was performed on the Go 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 show, and then as a extra single on Go Go Go's second album, that is Radio Go Go Go. Here is Let Him Go.
Goodbye is hard to say. Those tears will live to cry another day. You try, but there's no easy way. That heart will learn to beat in time again. A new day must begin, and that's the kindest thing to do. Though it may not seem what's best for you, you don't have to say you love him. He will know. Just let him go. And that's the kindest thing to do. Though it may not seem what's best for you,
What's best for you?
you don't have to say you love him.
You love him.
He will know.
He will know.
Just let him go. Just let him go.
Very beautiful indeed. Oh, I do apologise. Honestly, I had no idea that my mic was still on. But there you go, everybody. That is a very beautiful pop ballad. That was Let Him Go, sang by Carl Tracy. And let me tell you something. There's something about that song that I think is really, really touching and moving about that. So I couldn't resist singing along. This is my favourite so far. Oh, thank you so much there, Joe. We've got more messages coming in. Good work, Jack. Thank you very much, Jack. Jacques Odell Root. I've got loads of my old school friends back on here again. They haven't forgotten me in the slightest, which is amazing. Thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate all the support from you. And I actually, to be quite honest, I was not expecting most of you to actually be part of this. Honestly, I actually have been, this has been in work for a very, very long time, and I only just done this for a group of fans of this band, but I had no idea that also you are supporting this as well, so thank you so much. I really do appreciate this, and your, of course, your support and recognition hasn't gone unnoticed in the slightest. If I have missed any of your comments, I do apologise. I am trying to keep track of them, as well as playing the songs and even doing this as a show, but I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really, really do appreciate every single bit of compliments, messages, and also as well, please, as like if I completely forgot to also say, I'm still would love you to ask me any questions. Of course, anything to do about the band of Go Go Go. This is what it's all about, and or anything in particular. Personally, I know a load of my old school friends done that at the tail end of my last part of this podcast. But yeah, honestly, I really would appreciate it. And also, don't forget that also we have got a very, very special guest who will be coming into the studio very, very shortly, of course, to talk about his time in the band of Go Go Go. And not just that, we've even got a load of more songs to still to go through. Which, of course, I'm back on the topic of that. We're actually going to continue with the music of course, from Go 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 as we move on to another song from the, of course, the band. And as we go to, of course, back to the original, I wouldn't just say the original, but of course the second album of Radio Go Go Go. And also, unbelievably, this next song that we're going to be playing is, I know, of course, summer has finished and we're in the season of autumn, but this song, I had no idea originally. It was actually a song that was written for the Fast Food Rockers initially for their only album they released of called It's Never Easy Being Cheesy, and the song was called 9 Times Out of 10, but Mike Stork actually reproduced this song and adapted it slightly and made it a bit more of a different song and made it a completely different single and given a completely different title, and the song is completely different about what it talks about when it's been sung. So yeah, there's a lot to it, honestly. And so honestly, you'll be in for a real treat here, guys. And even though, like I said, we're not in summer, but it's definitely been quite warm over the last few days, which is kind of unheard of for autumn. But anyway, of course, we're going to move on to our next song, straight once again from the Radio Go 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 album, and that is Blue Sky Sunshine Day. And this is also sung by my very good friend of Carl Tracy, and also Steve Leeds, who returns after singing This Is the Life, which if you might have heard earlier on in the first part of this podcast. So anyway, let's move on to another song straight from the single, or of course the album, of Radio Go Go Go. It's Blue Sky Sunshine Day. Get your sunglasses and also your sun cream at the ready, because it's going to get a little bit hot. Here we go.
Tell all of my friends to meet me there. Watching the waves, tropical waves come surfing in. Now let the fun begin. Shades on the shoes off, say hello to summer. All the clouds have rolled away. Palm trees, cool breeze, panning for another blue sky. What living must be for. Feet in the sand, beautiful sand between my toes. This happy feeling grows. Shades on, shoes off, say hello to summer. All the clouds have rolled away. Palm trees, cool breeze, panning for another blue sky, sunshine.
Well, I hope you have definitely cooled down after that very, very hot song there from, of course, Go Go Go. From their, once again, their second album of Radio Go Go Go. That was Blue Sky Sunshine Day. And especially when I heard that for the first time, guys, that was one that really took me by surprise. It's a real catchy song, and it definitely puts you in the mood for when it comes to an actual day and when it's bright sunshine and it's very warm, and especially if you've got a drink, and also if you're very hot, obviously you would do a load of things. It's basically, the song is basically describing things if you're at a beach and everything. So and I've seen the music video, and it's a real good music video as well. And funnily enough, the band members are in different outfits to what they used to have from the time when they became a musical band, and it was really, really something, honestly. Definitely when, of course, if you might remember, if you did actually watch earlier on with the, of course, the second part of the, well, first part, I should say, of the podcast, I did say that this is, of course, an early celebration of the course of the unofficial 10-year anniversary of Go Go Go, of course, Electro, as they're called now. But a lot more about that later on, of course. But like I said already, with, of course, with the band celebrating 10 years. This is not the only video that I'm planning to do. I know this is a live video podcast, but I'm also streaming this on 2 other groups. Once again, if you're just joining in, of course, on the Go 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 Getters, which is a fan group on Facebook as well. And also I've made my own fan page as well, called the Go 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 Electro fan page. And yeah, and of course I really do appreciate, of course, all of you watching in right now. We're getting so many random people here, but definitely for all them supporting what I'm doing here, and I really do appreciate it. Honestly, I really, really do. So, but anyway, of course, like I said already, guys, moving swiftly on, of course, was we're going to have another song for you. I know, they're all coming thick and fast. They're actually a lot more quicker than we had in the last part of the podcast. But we're going to move straight on to another song. And unbelievably, for another time, Carl is also going to be lead vocals on this next song. But this song is a real nod back to the songs of the 80s. It's definitely got that sound of Stock, Aitken and Waterman to it. And it's obviously, as you know, with Mike Stock, obviously writing and composing, of course, these songs. And he also performed on the songs as well with different instruments. It's really something that this is definitely a nod to the past, but as you know, of course, as some people do love retro music, and it's obviously, it's kind of becoming a running thing now. It's obviously, you know, they've seemed to have gone back into fashion really with a load of like retro like songs and even album vinyl records as well. That's become a recurring thing. They've actually become popular again. It's become a new popular trend, which is sounds kind of unusual, but I never would have thought that from over a year ago that's when it started happening. But anyway, besides that, of course, this is a brilliant song, and this is also played, like I said already, around this time when Go 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 had their music videos were on Nick Jr. at the time, the kids' satellite TV channel in the UK. This is a song normally played around lunchtime when actually band members and a group of kids were sharing a picnic together. And if you don't know what the song is, it's called Choices. This is another great song, and it's a real great nod to the pop songs of the 80s. And it's definitely got a real vibe of maybe songs from Madonna or Kylie Minogue. There's definitely also a song that we will be playing later on in this podcast that is definitely, or it's not exactly a carbon copy, but it was inspired by one of the very famous songs, or actually the very first single from Kylie Minogue all those years ago, because as you know, for any of you who don't know already, she is celebrating her 30th anniversary in the music business. That is insane that she's actually lasted that long. And she has gone on tour quite recently, and of course, her genre of music or songs that she's been writing quite recently have definitely changed over from over the last few years that she's done for being around, especially. But anyway, enough about that. On to another great song from, of course, the album, as I say again, of Radio Go Go Go. Let's keep the tunes, of course, still playing and, of course, flooding in. And the next song is Choices, sang once again on lead vocals by my good friend, Mr. Carl Tracy. Take it away, man.
Color my world, color a rainbow, color the songs I sing and play. Color my life, color it brighter, show me variety each day.
So much to see, so much to savor. Sure looks good to me.
Choices, choices, fill our hearts with joy. It's such a sweet sensation. So many choices, choices, festival of voices. What a celebration. Color me more, color this flavor. Let it be good for me to taste. Color my dreams, color them over. Color a smile upon my face.
So much to share, so much the better. Sure feels good to me.
Choices, choices, fill our hearts with joy. It's such a sweet sensation. So many choices, choices, festival of voices. What a celebration. Choices, so much to choose from. No time to waste. Full of choices. Choices.
So much to share, so much the better. Sure feels good to me.
Choices, choices, fill our hearts with joy. It's such a sweet sensation. So many choices, choices, festival of voices. What a celebration. Choices, choices.
Way, well, that's definitely a nod to, of course, the days of Stock, Aitken and Waterman, folks. That was Choices from, of course, on lead vocals by, once again, my very good friend, Carl Tracy. And believe it or not, guys, like I said earlier on, I did say that we have got a very, very special guest appearing on this podcast today to talk about his memories of being in the band, and unbelievably, during that song that we just played, he has only just come into the studio right now, and he is going to be speaking to us very, very shortly, and I am so excited. This person that we have already in the studio with me is someone who's been a big part of the band since they formed in 2008, like I said, 10 years ago, and it's amazing for him to be here, honestly, and he has definitely inspired me to do something very, very special, which I will announce, of course, later on in the show. I know that we've been going on for almost an hour, but like I said, we don't want to make it too long, of course, this show for you guys, and we want to make it interesting for you. But yeah, of course, we're actually, of course, now we did play this song earlier on, but we are going to play this song to introduce him, or of course, our special guest to you in just a few minutes. And of course, if you don't know who, of course, this person is, like I said, he's been a big part of the band since they formed back 10 years ago. and even though that he didn't get a chance to sing as much, he did appear a lot in the show of the Go 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 show, and even in some of the music videos too. You will be seeing that, of course, when we go through the history of the music videos of Go 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 next Friday, if I have not mentioned from the last part. But to remind you, that will be happening as well. This obviously is going to be the first part of the early celebrations, unofficial celebrations of 10 years, the 10-year anniversary of Go Go Go. So do keep that in mind, and honestly, and if you've been enjoying the show so far, please, of course, feel free to still send me any questions. I'm still waiting for some questions for you guys. My friend Joe, no, I was going to say actually Jade, sorry, I do apologise, Joe Dalton, my good old school friend, he did say, I take my mind back, I like that song better. What was that one? Oh, this one's my favourite, sorry, I read that wrong. Oh, is that for a blue sky sunshine day, mate? I think that must have been. Well, believe it or not, Joe, I mean, of course, honestly, I don't think there'll be any song from Go 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 you wouldn't like, mate, honestly. I know that their songs are mostly aimed for children, but unbelievably, they've also had a massive impact on also having a following of adults as well. Not just parents, but I'm obviously 25... I'm coming up to 25 years old, mate, and honestly, I still embrace being young, of course, at heart, even though that I'm around my early 20s already. I still love it, of course, with a load of songs that I remember hearing in my childhood, and this is the whole point that I like it. I mean, they're very much like, of course, this band were much like the Fast Food Rockers, if you remember them, back in 2003, and that was my first taste of cheesy pop music alongside with Steps, so that's the whole point. I've been a fan of them, and I just love their music. And just as performers, and not just as performers, but as real life people. But of course, Carl, Holly, and Jade, who I'm friends with, of course, even here on Facebook as well. They are absolutely amazing. They really are, mate. Honestly. And if you obviously, I've got to if I ever get the chance for them to see you, mate. Honestly, you would get on very well with them, honestly. But anyway, aside from that, let's of course forget about that, and I don't want to keep my special guest waiting for me in the studio, but let's play a song to introduce him, and if you don't know who, of course, who it will be, well, you're going to find out after this very song, and this is actually a rewritten version of one of the songs from the original stage show of the Go 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 show, and that is Questions Questions. Now, this is a version that was sang by the character of Mr. Baffled. This was sung originally by all the cast, all the band members in the original show, but this one actually is a lot more better, and there's a lot more to the song than when it was originally written and performed. So, but you'll definitely hear that when we actually play the song. So, to introduce my special guest to you right after this very song, here is, of course, the rewritten version of Questions Questions from, once again, the album of Radio Go Go Go, featuring the character of Mr. Baffled.
How do butterflies get inside your tummy? Why do bees have little furry coats?
They get cold.
Why does higgledy-piggledy sound so funny? And why do we count sheep instead of goats or cats? And does a cricket use a cricket bat?
It's all a mystery.
Take a guess, have a go. Put my hand up if I know. Scratch my head, tap my foot. I would answer if I could. Why, what, when, here or there? I don't know and I don't care. Questions, questions, questions everywhere. Do gorillas really like bananas? Where do you buy shoes if you're a clown? Why don't sleeping lions wear pajamas? And why must I sit up when I sit down for tea? Can monkeys solve the monkey puzzle tree?
It's all a mystery.
Take a guess, have a go. Put my hand up if I know, scratch my head, tap my foot. I would answer if I could. Why, what, when, here or there? I don't know and I don't care. Questions, questions, questions everywhere. Does an earwig ever wear a wig or scarf? And why does being tickled make me laugh?
It's all a mystery.
Take a guess, have a go. Put my hand up if I know, scratch my head, tap my foot. I would answer if I could. Why, what, when, here or there? I don't know and I don't care. Questions, questions, questions everywhere.
Yes, great to hear that. Actually, as of course, if you just heard there, that was the rewritten version of Questions, Questions. There, of course, from the Radio Go 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 album, featuring the character of Mr. Baffled. And I'm very happy to finally say, guys, like I said earlier on, I have one very special guest in the studio right now. I know you can't see him, but he will be, of course, he's right beside me right now. And but of course we obviously we can't actually get a camera on him, sadly, but if you don't know who we're talking about, our special guest here, of course, on this Radio Go Go Go, of course, back in the day, a 10-year anniversary celebration live video podcast, we have someone who has been part of the band since the very beginning, since 2008, and we have played his song, which actually he, of course, has been very, very excited to actually hear for the first time in years, and it's wonderful for us to have him here, and for the first time in a few years, honestly, it's been a while, so, and it's no other than, of course, the ever-confused, of course, inventor who's always thinking of questions all the time, but only can have help from the band that would normally help them out anyway, and that is Mr. Baffled. Hello, Mr. Baffled, how are you? Hello, Jack, it is an absolute pleasure for me to be here. I honestly, and can I just say congratulations on this show so far. It's an opportunity that I've always wanted to be part of your podcast, Jack, and I have to say that you've been doing a superb job so far, and I feel deeply honoured to be part of your podcast, Jack. Well, indeed, honestly, and I am a huge, huge fan of your character. I think you are very, very funny, and I've never got the opportunity to see you live all those years ago, but I'm so happy that I finally got the chance to meet you now, Mr. Baffled. Oh, well, that is really, really sweet of you to say that there, Jack, and I know that, to be quite honest, I used to be quite a hit of with the children back in the early days as well. I normally, when I used to be part of the show, I was quite a fan of all these children liking who I am as a person, and I'm very much different when I come off stage, but to have a lot of love and also of course a lot of love from parents and not just the children, it's really something. It's very, very, very humbling to me, I must say. Well, it most certainly must be there, Mr. Baffled, and of course, as we just played your song right there, that's actually the first time that you've heard it for a while, isn't it? It most certainly is, Jack. It's and I had no idea that that song is about 5 years old now. It's actually older than me, to be quite honest. Well, I wouldn't say that there, Mr. Baffled, but I do know that, as I said already, it's definitely one of those novelty songs that when I first heard it, Mr. Baffled, I just couldn't help but not just join in, but also sing along with it as well. So, and it's really a very, very good song indeed. It most certainly is, Jack. I have to say that with all the work that Steve Crosby and oh, I can't remember his name. Who was the other person who founded the Go 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 show? Oh, do you mean Mike Stock, Mr. Baffled? Ah, yes, that's right. That was the name of the character. Well, I wouldn't say the character, but the name of the person who came up with the idea for the song and also the show as a whole. And if it wasn't for, of course, Steve and also Mike, I wouldn't have actually been here and even appearing here in the first place. So it's really quite something to have been part of, and especially I know it's been quite a while since I have been part with the band, and I have heard that you, of course, are a massive fan of the band, Jack, and I know you've only been following them for over a year or so, and I honestly could not thank you enough for obviously being one of those loyal fans. And I heard that when you met Carl, Holly and Jade for the first time, it really was quite special for you. It most certainly was, Mr. Baffled, I have to say, because of they've been a big inspiration to me as a performer, going into hopefully children's entertainment in the future. And I would love to get the opportunity to obviously do what they do. I actually, to be quite honest, Mr. Baffled, I actually got the opportunity to say that if they're looking for new band members, I'd be more than happy to stand in for Carl. But then he said, "Oh, I think I might get out of the job if you do that, there, Jack." And it was absolutely hilarious when I heard him say that. And I was like, "Oh, no, you don't have to be like that there, mate. Honestly, you are brilliant. Honestly, I just, there was not many of them together. I know, obviously, Holly and there was an electro dancer there because obviously the band have changed quite a lot in a massive major way. So, but yeah, it really was something to meet them at Raveroo from last year there, Mr. Baffled. Yeah, it most certainly must have been. So, and I have to say that going back to with my part being in the show, it's quite something that I know that the fan base for, of course, Go 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 has been quite substantial over the last few years. I mean, it's amazing that still the band are going. It's really quite something that I never would have thought in all my years of doing, of course, what I normally do, obviously trying to think of questions to be answered, and I never thought anything more spectacular could happen at this time in, of course, in the year of the 2018, isn't it? Yes, it is there, Mr. Baffled. Oh, I had to try and check first, because I don't normally have a clock or calendar to keep track of dates and everything, so that's why I thought I'd ask for. Oh, that's fine, though, Mr. Baffled, but I have actually just got a little comment just coming in from, I think that was who we had in the first part of the podcast. That was Jeanette Clark, and she said, "We love this song too." Oh, well, that's really sweet of you there, Jeanette, to say that there with your daughter Lilia. And I know that, of course, as I know that Mr. Baffled really appreciates that, don't you, Mr. Baffled? I most certainly do. Hello, Jeanette, and hello there, Lilia. It's lovely to see you again. It's been a while since I saw you. I do remember quite very well. When was the last time I saw you? Oh, really there? Did you actually remember everybody, Mr. Baffled? Well, I wouldn't say everybody there, Jack, but I do remember some people in particular when we were touring back all those years ago. And I remember meeting loads and loads of kids. I mean, especially even when we started filming the music videos for Nick Jr., I remember that quite a lot. We had quite a few children in there, even in the music video where with my song Questions, and also in Choices when I also played a guitar. I do remember that there, Mr. Baffle. That was actually really, really cool. I was not expecting you to actually appear there, and you also were behind some DJ decks as well, weren't you? I was. I certainly was. I do have a real love for music, just like Jade and also former member Gemma. I know that she used to dance. She loves dancing, and I know that Holly does as well. She loved singing as well as Jade, and also being very much like myself, being very creative and always having something, to keep her, well, not just entertained, but she's really kind of like a know-it-all. I wouldn't say just like myself, because obviously I'm completely different to what she was, but I think that it's very nice to have a similar personality trait to Jade, and we have quite a lot in common, I must say. Well, that's quite something to hear there, Mr. Baffle. That's really something. Oh, we've actually got a quick little question come up. It's come up anonymous, but if you could answer this, Mr. Baffled, have you actually got a first name, Mr. Baffled? Well, indeed. Strangely enough, I do have. I know it might sound strange, but I do have a first name, and my first name's actually Ian. Oh, really? Oh, because I actually know someone called Ian. I think it was Ian Hardman, isn't it? Yes, I do remember Ian. Funny enough, he actually played the role of myself, actually, for quite a few years. He's gone from the band now, and I know that he's been out from, of course, Go 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 for quite a while now. But I know that, funnily enough, I've been brought back from yourself. Obviously we got in contact quite a while ago, and I do feel really I feel honoured to be once again part of your podcast, like I said earlier, Jack. Well, that's wonderful to hear there, of course, Mr. Baffled, and it's wonderful to have you as a guest on our show today. Well, it is an absolute pleasure to be back here, and I would just like to say congratulations to all the band members of Go Go Go, to the new members of Amy Cooper, and also the current members, Carl Tracy, and to Jade Natalie, and also to the other Go 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 electro dancers of Chloe Dean and Aid Suiza, and I think I remember someone called Emily as well that you met over a year ago, Jack. Is that right? Yes, you are right indeed there, Mr. Baffled, and but I don't remember her surname, but oh, good. I completely forgot her surname. Oh, I'm the same as you there, Mr. Baffled. I think you're very much like myself now, aren't you? Well, I wouldn't say that there, Jack, but I do know that I do remember that you are, of course, quite a fan of my character, and it's nice to be acknowledged in a way that you say that, of course, how you said to me earlier on when I came into the studio. Well, most definitely there, Mr. Baffled, and I really do appreciate you being part of the show. And could you also do me a favour, actually, Mr. Baffled? Oh, what exactly? Could you actually introduce another song for us while I actually, because I need to go to the loo and just have a little break. Oh, okay then. Well, honestly, there, guys, don't worry. I'm not going to be far away for long, but I'm going to leave you with Mr. Baffled to take over from, of course, my microphone and from my headphones, and he's going to play you the next song, of course, from the band of Go Go Go, from, of course, the Radio Go 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 album. And do you know what it is? Oh, I don't think so, no. Oh, well, here's this piece of paper here. It'll show you the playlist and the set list of how it is. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, yes. Is it Holiday Bay? That's right there, Mr. Baffled. So you're going to be playing this song. Is that all right? Oh, I'm fine with that. Honestly, I never thought I would get the opportunity to do this. It's been quite a while, but I'll do anything to help your show, Jack. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Baffled. So I'm actually going to just go off for a few minutes to the loo, but I will be back very, very shortly. But I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of Mr. Baffled and to introduce the next song while I go to the loo. So see you in a couple of minutes. Well, don't be long there, Jack. I know I'm not going to be here for a long, long time. That's all right there. I won't be long. Okay, well, anyway, of course, hello once again, everyone, if you're just tuning in to the Radio Go Go Go, back in the day, a 10-year anniversary celebration, and the live video podcast with me, Mr. Baffled, and it's my job now to introduce this next song from my very good friends of the band Go Go Go, which were Carl, Jade, Holly, and also Gemma and Steve. And the next song that we're going to be playing for you right now is a song also that even appeared in the Go 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 show back 8 years ago as well. which seems quite amazing, don't you think? Well, anyway, here it is, sung by my very good friends of Gemma and also Jade. It's Holiday Bay. Enjoy, everyone.
Close your eyes and imagine you're in Holiday Bay, where the coconuts grow and there's never a cloud that's grey. Dolphins swimming in the clear blue ocean, everybody slapping on suntan lotion. Wave your toes in the sand, make a splash with your hand in the spray. Close your eyes and imagine you're in Holiday Bay. Close your eyes and imagine you're on holiday. You're on holiday. The coconuts grow and never ever ever a cloud that's grey. Water sports whizzing on the jumping jet skis. Mom and dad relaxing as they're breathing in the sea breeze. With a bucket and spade and a cool lemonade on the way. Close your eyes and imagine you're in Holiday Bay. Close your eyes and imagine coconuts grow. There's never a cloud that's grey. Grandma's slipping on an ice cream cornet. Didn't bring a jacket 'cause I never would have worn it. Gonna head to the shore. Is there anything more left to say? Close your eyes and imagine you're in Holiday Bay. Close your eyes and imagine you're in Holiday Bay. Coconuts grow, where the coconuts grow, and there's never a cloud that's never ever ever a cloud that's grey. Close your eyes and imagine you're in Holiday Bay.
Well, that was another beautiful song there, and a very catchy song there. That was Holiday Bay from, of course, both the Go 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 show and also Radio Go 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 albums. And once again, if you didn't hear him earlier on, I am joined once again in the studio by Mr. Baffled. Hello, everyone. And he is, of course, my special guest in, of course, this Radio Go 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 10th year anniversary, of course, back in the day, 10th year anniversary celebration live video podcast. And is that also another song that you haven't heard for a while, Mr. Baffled? It most certainly is, Jack. I haven't actually heard that song for even back in the early days when we actually done the show all those years ago, Jack. It's quite something looking back on the when this song when we actually first performed it. It most certainly must have been there, Mr. Baffled. Well, actually, we're now moving into, I think, my favourite part of the show. I know it's getting, of course, a lot more later now. If you are watching this live right now, I know obviously that it's coming up to it's almost actually 11 o'clock. Would you believe? Good heavens, is that really there, Jack? It most certainly is, Mr. Baffled. I didn't honestly think I would be that long. But anyway, do, of course, stay with us, guys, because we have got some very special songs lined up. And even actually, I have to say, this next song that we're going to be playing to you is one that I absolutely adore so much. Is that really there, Jack? It most certainly is, because if you did not know, Mr. Baffled, I am a huge fan of pop music, and even from the day I was born. Really? Yes, most certainly, Mr. Baffled. It's actually, I've been a huge fan since I was born back in 1994. 1994? Good heavens, I don't even remember even being all those years ago. I don't think I was even around that time. Oh, I don't think you were, Mr. Baffled. I think you've been around for quite a while, haven't you? Oh, I most certainly have. I mean, it's quite nice that I'm still very much myself, and but I wouldn't say that I'm getting any older. Oh, well, you actually look great for how you are at the moment there, Mr. Baffled. You've definitely aged very well. Oh, well, I do appreciate that there, Jack, but I know it's quite scary, having old age. Honestly, I mean, it would be nice to live forever. Oh, I know, honestly. But anyway, of course, moving aside from that, before we even talk about the eventual, of course, eventual situation of death, of course, moving aside from that, of course, we are going to go straight on with our next song. And prepare yourself for a huge bit of nostalgia overload, guys, because we are going to take you back to a song that was actually written just, of course, a year after, or 2 years after, from when Radio Go 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 was released. And that song is well, I wouldn't say Go Go Go, but actually it did have Radio Go 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 in the title. And of course, that song is Back in the Day. Now, of course, as you know, that is the title of our podcast here. But also, that was even a name of a song that even the band of Go 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 actually released just over a few years ago, would you believe? And obviously, this song, for any of you who are like massive fans of pop music, this is one song that you'll definitely love. Honestly, it's going to be one that you're going to have a lot of fun listening to. And when you listen to the lyrics, they are very reminiscent of a load of pop songs that you'll definitely will have a complete knowing to, or you'd remember very well. So yeah, it's we are just we. Oh goodness me, I do apologise. I think we're having problems trying to because there are loads of other versions of this song which we had no idea about. There was one time where I do remember this song was actually played during one of your live tours. Wasn't that right, Mr. Baffled? It most certainly was, Jack. It was I think it was back in 2014, about 5 years ago, Jack. And I remember it was used as an encore number, and I remember all the band members, Carl, Holly, Jade, Steve, and also Gemma, they all came back on with different outfits for what they were wearing earlier on when we were doing the show. So, but yes, when I would normally used to introduce the song to the audience, and I would ask them to sing along. So that's basically what I got them to do, and then it was the band's job to then join in and and interact with the audience, and that's how it's always been with this song. And I think I've also, if I'm not in point of even not afraid in saying that, you've also done a dance routine to this, Jack, haven't you? How on earth did you know that there, Mr. Baffled? I have actually done one. I have, Jack. I am quite amazed with the dance routine that you had. I mean, I never thought that you would remember all the dance routines from, and even the choreography from all the band members. I was completely blown away, Jack. You are really, really talented. Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Baffled. Well, like I said, it is my favourite song, and I wanted, it was kind of strange that nobody, took notice of, when people would learn the dance routines to other songs that Go 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 done, that was one of them that kind of got forgotten about. So that's the whole point I'd done it for. Oh, really? Is that the whole point of why you made that video in the first place? It most certainly was there, Mr. Baffled, and I also done it as an early birthday present to Carl, Jade, and also Holly. It was also the day when I actually filmed the video. I actually shot it on the day before her birthday, on the 4th of November. Oh, really, Jack? Yes, I most certainly did, and I had no idea that Holly's birthday followed on the next day. That's amazing there, Jack. And I do know that, does she have her birthday on was it Bonfire Night or Guy Fawkes Night? That's right, Mr. Baffled, yes. Yeah, she actually has her birthday on that same day as well. Oh, my word. That's quite something. I had no idea about that. Well, now you know, Mr. Baffled. Well, anyway, of course, enough chatting about that. I have to play another track there, so I do apologise. Oh, that's fine, Jack. I mean, I didn't mean to get in the way of you. I mean, it's your podcast at the end of the day. Oh, well, it most certainly is, but I do appreciate you, obviously, killing a bit of time when we've been having a few problems with our music. But we do appreciate you being patient with us, guys. I mean, we're still carrying on. We weren't expecting this thing to happen, so we do thoroughly apologise for that happening. So, but to play us, of course, into we're actually going to show you two versions of one of my favourite songs from Go Go Go, and a great nod to, of course, all the old past pop acts of the 80s, 90s and early 2000s, such as Steps, also I think S Club 7, Whitney Houston, DJ Jazzy Jeff featuring the Fresh Prince. That there are so much, and I would love you to count as many as you can in this video. Honestly, you'll be quite amazed on how many songs, titles, or even bands, or even singers are referenced in this song, because it's literally astounding how many there are. It's really, really something. But anyway, we're going to, of course, go on to my favourite song from the band, and that is, of course, Go Go Go's, of course, recent single that they also released on iTunes, but they haven't released any other single as of yet, and that is Back in the Day. But we're going to do the live version that was performed on the Go 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 live show back in 2014. So get ready for a huge amount of nostalgia overload, guys, because here we go with Back in the Day. Very appropriately with the name of the course of our one and only podcast that is celebrating 10 years, an official 10-year anniversary of once again the band of Go Go Go. So here we go, everybody, and don't be afraid to join in and sing along, or even dance as well. Feel, of course, it's time for a nostalgic overload, and also nod to the past and remember some great old school memories indeed, as a lyric from the actual video and even single as well. Anyway, here it is. It's Back in the Day. First, the live version from the 2014 Go 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 live tour, and then the single version, which is a lot more different, but it's also titled the Radio Go 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 Mix. Here we go, everybody. Happy listening.
up. Bobby made the ladies swoon. Alanis was ironic, Kiddens were atomic. Cher believed in life after love. Girls were made of ice, fire to relight. Michael wore a single love. The old school memories. Back in the day, everywhere there would be sweet songs playing on the radio. Back in the day, sing along and tap your feet songs, and that was the way. Back in the day. And that was the way. Back in the day. 5, 6, 7, 8. Britney looking great, and Kylie wouldn't change a thing. Jumping double dutch, Hannah said don't touch. Boys began to run with that thing. The old school memories. Back in the day, everywhere there would be sweet songs playing on the radio. Back in the day, sing along and tap your feet songs, and that was the way. Back in the day, everywhere there will be big stars singing on a TV show. Back in the day, strum along to all the guitars, and that was the way. Back in the day. Chesney in the charts, groove is in our hearts. Girls were singing "C'est la vie." The old school memories. Back in the day, everywhere there would be sweet songs playing on the radio. Back in the day, sing along and tap your feet songs, and that was the way. Back in the day, everywhere there will be big stars singing on a TV show. Back in the day, strum along to all the guitars, and that was the way. And that was the way. And that was the way. Back in the day.
Well, guys, I bet that was a lot of nostalgia for all of you watching there, right there. That was, of course, the two versions of that very great song, of course, from Go Go Go, and the recent single that they have released, and that is the recent one that they have released, and they haven't even released another album just yet, back in 2015, and that was Back in the Day. An absolutely fantastic nod to a load of course, iconic pop music bands and artists and groups, and even song titles. There was just so much to the song, it was ridiculous. It was absolutely insane, but such a great song nevertheless. And yeah, amazing, absolutely amazing. Such a great video indeed. And yeah, well, of course, we haven't got very much long now. We're actually only just got about half an hour now on this, of course, this Radio Go 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 Back in the Day, a 10-year anniversary celebration live video podcast. I know not many people are watching right now because of how long this has been, but well, I hope for all of you that are watching this right now, thank you for staying up with me. I know that obviously I'm not trying to bore you all. I hope this music is still entertaining you, most importantly. But yeah, now of course we move on to the final bit of history about the band. Now, of course, as you know, And going back to the history of the band, we, of course, we've just left off where Gemma Naylor and Steve Crosby have left the band, and they've gone on to do other things. But the band members of Jade, Carl, and also Holly still remain in the band, and now they are a trio from previously being in a quintet. But then, of course, 2 years ago, the band then, of course, after a short hiatus, then, of course, became Go 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 Electro, where their new show with a banging electro twist introduced electro dancers, new choreography for the songs, and their famous singles expertly remixed by top DJs. So basically, they were made more modern, to be quite honest. They basically went from retro to more electro. I know that is a real good bit of rhyming there, but what I mean is, guys, they obviously pop music is kind of that genre of music is kind of, you know, well, it hasn't died down as of recently. I know it has kind of in a way, but obviously with Steps still being around, of course, and they released a new album from last year. But obviously, they are the only, I think, children's pop music act that are still around, and like I said already, they had to change it about a bit than just doing the same thing over and over, and they had to change it up a bit. And that's where, of course, the idea of Go 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 Electro came about. And of course, the band members actually had a completely different change. They had new costumes, they had new appearances, but they were still all very much the same and everything. But like I said, the most important thing about the band was their music. Their music definitely changed, and they were kind of remixed in more house and slash drum and bass, even a bit of dubstep thrown in there for good measure. And currently, as of in 2018, or actually from also at the same time as well in 2016, they are also proud to be the resident artists at Raveroo, which is a new family rave event which is based at world famous super club Ministry of Sound in London. And I actually, believe it or not, guys, I also had the opportunity to go there from last year and even meet Carl, Holly and Jade that were performing there back in May last year, and that was really something. They knew about me coming, and also what was even more amazing, guys, is that I also got a shout out from Carl himself on stage when they were performing one part of their, you know, one part of their show, basically, or one part of their time performing on the stage at the event. So yeah, it was really something, and I was really touched, and they were just so nice, honestly, and I'm really looking forward to hopefully going, because they have been performing there over the last few months or so, and they are going to be performing again later on in November. And I'm hoping to get tickets to go and see them, so which would be really nice. So and of course, actually, believe it or not, guys, that actually was the special surprise I was going to actually mention. I'm hoping to actually go and see them in November. And also, as we did actually have Mr. Baffled earlier on in the studio. He has gone now, by the way. I do apologise. I know he didn't get the chance to say, of course, goodbye to you, but he was obviously very busy. But I do have to say that I actually am going to be dressing up as him, believe it or not. He's given me a huge inspiration on to obviously kind of bring back the character, as obviously celebrating 10 years of the band of Go Go Go, and give him a little twist, because obviously he was like an old vintage style character, and so I wanted to like jazz up his appearance, and also just keep somewhat of what he was famous for, like his steampunk goggles and his waistcoat and tie and his breeches, but obviously have something a bit more, you know, more recent, and also kind of more, well, I wouldn't just say traditional, but more, you know, more popular. And I actually have got some LED light up shoes, which actually I wore over a year ago when I went to Raveroo as well, because actually my friend Carl actually had a pair of them when he was performing in the show, when in Go 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 Electro, and also my friends, also Holly and also Jade, had very similar shoes too. So that was really something. So, but yeah, anyway, of course, just to give you a little example, guys, we're actually going to be playing some of the songs that you might remember from, of course, when I was not performing, sorry, I do apologise, from when these guys actually came back. So we're actually going to show you a little bit of a little example of some of the electro remixes of the same songs that they brought out, the band. And they still sounded amazing, honestly, these guys. I mean, you know, obviously they still they still even sung live, obviously, like they did back in the early days as well. But I also did find out they actually mimed occasionally, just like Steps in their early days, because of how physical and high energy the dance routines were when they done them all those years ago. So yeah, here's just a little medley of songs that were used and even performed at Raveroo. But not just that, they've even performed in other places as well. As of this year, they actually performed once again, like I mentioned in the last part of this podcast. They actually performed at Selfridges shopping centre in the Trafford Centre in, of course, in Manchester earlier on a few months ago. And yeah, obviously it's great that Carl and Jade are still very much part of it. But I haven't actually heard anything from Holly recently. I'm not sure if she's left just yet, but she actually hasn't been part of this quite recently. But it would be nice to see her back, honestly, because she's also just came back earlier on this year from doing an incredible European touring production of the very, very famous rock horror, of course, musical that is Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show. And she played the role of Columbia, and she went down a storm performing all across over Europe, in Germany, Italy, Austria, and I think she also performed in Switzerland, from what I remember as well. So yeah, quite amazing indeed. But anyway, here's a few little songs, also, or little snippets of electro remixes of songs that you would hear from the band currently, if you still support them as a fan. So here is a few versions of some of the songs from, of course, the new, of course, version of the pop band of Go Go Go, as now they're known as Go 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 Electro!
Good times are knocking at the door.
Tell all of my friends to meet me there. Watching the waves, tropical waves come surfing in. Now let the fun begin. Shake off shoes, say hello to summer. All the clouds are rolled away. Palm trees, breeze, and for another sky, sunshine. Shake off shoes, say hello to summer. All the clouds are rolled away. Palm trees, breeze, and for another sky, sunshine day. Sky, sunshine day. Let's do this. You ready? Come on, come on. Chico Flamingo. Here we go. Splashing in the water by the shore.
Island like paradise, nothing better.
This is what living must be for.
On our way to the big blue ocean.
Beautiful sand between our toes. This happy feeling grows. Shake off shoes, say hello to summer. Clouds are rolled away. Trees, breeze, and for another sky, sunshine. Shake off shoes, say hello to summer. Clouds are rolled away. Trees, breeze, and for another sky, sunshine day. You ready? Let's do this. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Sky, sunshine. Ho, ho.
Every wish on our wish list, and all the way through our to-do list. And I can't think
That's right, mate.
Joining in two. Let's take the roof off this time. Are you ready? After three, everybody as loud as you can. A one, a two, a three. Go, go, go! Yes! We want to hear you all joining in with this next song. The very special Go, Go, Go song. Are you ready? I'm ready! Let's do this. Are you ready? Clap your hands. Song's ready. Here we go! Go, go, go! Come on, you can be louder than that. Are you ready? Let's go! Go, go, go! One more time, just for us, you ready? Here, go, go, go! Here we go, let's take it home. My dreams have been dreams, and the sleep has been slept. Now I'm lying awake in my bed. There's a smile on my face that I just can't erase, and I can't wait for what lies ahead. Thumbs ready, here we go. Go, go, go!
Well, there you go, everybody. Well, I know that was a little bit, there was a little bit of a mistake in between there, but there was a few snippets of audio clips that I found from videos of some of the performances of Go 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 Electro, including Carl, Holly, and also Jade, and even, if you listen very carefully, even there was one of Chloe and also Adi in there as well. Well, unfortunately, the time has finally come. We have run out of time, guys. It's the end of the show. Oh, I know. It's really, really sad indeed. But as always, good things always have to come to an end. And, well, I honestly didn't think how long this would be. I hope, I know that a load of you are not... have been, of course, been watching so far, but I know this was obviously a bit of an experiment, and I know that I wanted to do something just to kind of, it feels like I'm not the only one that's celebrating, of course, the unofficial 10-year anniversary of Go Go Go. But I wanted to do something anyway, and I hope you enjoyed it nevertheless, going through all of course, the old classic songs, and even new additions as well to Go Go Go. They haven't released anything recently, but I know that the remix versions of the songs that you heard earlier were really, really good, and I still love them to, of course, this day. And but I really would love them to be released on an album sometime. I think that would be really, really awesome. Honestly, it would be fantastic. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed watching this, of course, podcast. And this will, of course, if you have missed out on watching this, you can watch it from the very beginning again. You can obviously watch the first and also the second part all over again, and it will be up on iTunes, and it will be uploaded to YouTube very, very soon, hopefully, if it doesn't breach copyright with all the music I've been playing. But I hope you have enjoyed this, and of course, don't worry, of course, if you've missed out on this, you can, you'll be able to join me at the same time at 7 o'clock next Friday, and we'll be, of course, doing another celebratory, of course, unofficial 10-year anniversary celebration of Go Go Go, and we'll look at some of the music videos that have been released over the years of Go Go Go. / Electro as well, of how Go 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 are called now. But from myself, Jack Wright, creator also of the Go 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 fan page, and also known as Jackpot Button Lewis on YouTube, thank you very much for watching this podcast. And we're going to leave you now with the, of course, the original version of, well, I wouldn't say just the original, but of course the updated version of the main title song for Go Go Go. And you know that song is, it's Wake Up Smiling. We are, of course, we did miss out on one particular song, which was Hey There Sleepyhead, but we're actually going to leave that out because that's actually not as popular. But I know that is obviously a very popular song at night time, and I know it's quite late now, but from all of you that are watching this right now, even if it's not late in the evening, if you're watching this, whatever you're doing, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to do one of these podcasts very, very soon. And once again, for the first time, until next Friday, here's to the unofficial 10-year anniversary of Go 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 Electro! Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you very, very soon. But to play us out, it is once again the updated version of the Go Go Go, of course, main theme song, that is Wake Up Smiling. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I hope to see you very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.
My dreams have